In 2025, over $2 trillion in global trade is caught in the crossfire of one of the most aggressive economic standoffs in modern history. Are we witnessing the beginning of a century-long trade war that will reshape the global order? The ongoing trade conflict between the United States and China has escalated under the renewed leadership of President Trump, marking a shift from strategic rivalry to outright economic confrontation. This is no longer a temporary dispute over tariffs. This is a foundational change in how the world's two largest economies interact, and its ripple effects are being felt across every continent. The Trump administration has doubled down on protectionist policies, reimposing sweeping tariffs on Chinese goods, and enforcing new restrictions on American companies doing business with Chinese tech firms. In response, China has retaliated with targeted tariffs of its own, zeroing in on key U.S. exports such as agricultural products and advanced manufacturing. These moves have fractured global supply chains, driven up consumer prices, and plunged the international business community into a state of constant uncertainty. Companies are relocating operations, governments are rethinking alliances, and economic blocs are beginning to form around competing standards and technologies. To understand the scale of this conflict, it's important to examine the decades-long buildup. Since China's accession to the World Trade Organization, the U.S. has accused Beijing of manipulating its currency, violating intellectual property agreements, and using state subsidies to outcompete American firms. Early attempts at engagement, including promises of reform, have faded. The first wave of tariffs in 2018 sparked a tit-for-tat cycle that only deepened in the years that followed. President Trump's return to office has reignited the fight with fresh intensity, as his administration frames this not just as an economic battle, but as a fight to preserve American sovereignty and prevent technological dominance by a strategic rival. The most alarming aspect of this trade war isn't what has already happened, but what lies ahead. Economists and analysts warn of a new Cold War, defined not by missiles, but by markets. The world is beginning to divide into two distinct spheres of influence, one led by the U.S., the other by China. Countries and corporations are being forced to choose sides, with trade agreements, semiconductor access, and even digital infrastructure hanging in the balance. As global institutions like the WTO weaken under the strain, and cooperation gives way to competition, innovation and economic progress risk grinding to a halt. This isn't just about tariffs or trade deficits. It's about power, ideology, and control over the future. And if current trends continue, this trade war could last not just years, but generations, a century-long economic confrontation that reshapes everything from the flow of goods to the fabric of global diplomacy. The reality is stark. We are entering an era where economic nationalism is on the rise, supply chains are weaponized, and global integration is in retreat. The U.S. China trade war, once thought to be a phase, is revealing itself as a defining feature of the 21st century. As we've seen, this conflict affects prices, jobs, innovation, and the very structure of international relations. It is a fight that reaches far beyond borders and boardrooms, and it's only just beginning. What do you think? Will the United States and China find common ground, or is the world headed for a 100-year standoff? Share your thoughts in the comments, and be sure to check out our next video on how economic power is shifting in the age of digital currency and geopolitical fragmentation.